Hi everyone, it's Michael Ionakis from Miracle Tech, and I'm joined by our CTO Tamjid Ajazi, and today we're going to run through a couple of cool things. And first and foremost is the benefit of our mobile forms and our platform and what that's meant for business today. And also we'll give you a demo of the Miracle Studio where you can customize and design your own forms. So we'll start with a bit of an intro about how digitizing forms or mobilizing forms are going to help your company in many areas, and also provide some really cool business cases and clients of ours or customers have taken the journey or the leap forward to digitize their forms and seen the real benefits. Just by way of a bit of background, what we see today is a huge shift towards mobility, and notwithstanding that, there's a different and more efficient way of doing business now, and that's through the use of mobile device. And what highlights that is the number of mobile users is set to exceed 5 billion by the year 2020, and we're seeing more and more time of users spent on apps, and where consumers are expected to be doing business is around 85% off a digital platform. So more and more businesses and people out there are doing a greater portion of their business via mobile device. So it's here with us now. There's been a dramatic shift from how we moved from the 20th century way of doing things into the 21st century, and what the platform that's promoting or supporting that is our mobile framework, which we are very much a part of. Where Miracle Tech is positioned is clearly in that mobile world, where we're embedding more and more enterprises off a mobile platform to help improve their cost basis, their efficiency, and enterprise productivity. Just by way of background, how paperless forms are saving companies time, and what we found, and this is independent research, is that we're spending around average of half an hour each day searching for paper documents, which amounts to around 16 days per year. So it's quite obvious how paper forms and paper processes and the manual way of doing things is very unproductive and is costing a lot of unproductive hours in business today. Similarly, we've seen companies who have shifted to a mobile forms framework have seen fantastic savings, and we've got a client, a construction company, that's been able to realize a saving of $6 million just by a reduction in overhead over a 4-year period by moving to a mobile forms framework. So there's clearly a business case which we'll suggest, and look, companies that are promoting a sustainability or environmental friendly, there's a clear benefit if they're on the environment, where paper usage by an average business grows by 22% per year. 50% of the paper forms that are printed off are ultimately thrown away, which is a huge waste to organisations, and more than 16% of landfill is solid waste is paper. So it's proving to be a huge benefit to the environment when a company takes the decision to go paperless and to digitize their forms, not only from a business case perspective, but an environmental footprint and a sustainability footprint that company is wanting to promote. So I'll just shift now to talk about mobile forms in business and a business case. The first company I would like to talk to is Giorgio, which is a civil construction business in Australia. It's got national operations across the entire country, across building and civil infrastructure. Giorgio embarked on their mobile journey over 4 years ago, and what was the output of that is that all their paper forms were transformed rather through an application, a mobile application, appropriately named as One App. So what the company was able to achieve through that is also a huge focus on rationalization and improvement around their process. So as a result, the company rationalized 220 forms down to 85. There was a saving across document management and printing costs. Last year alone, the company submitted directly to a document management system via the mobile app 28,000 documents. So at a cost of $20 per form, they've realized a huge saving just at the front end. That amounts to around $560,000. And as I said earlier, over a rationalization and optimization of process, they were able to reduce overhead costs by $6 million over a 4-year period. So there's huge upsides for any business that is looking not only to stamp an environmental message out there to clients and stakeholders, but the profitability and cost reduction outcome is absolutely huge when a company takes that journey and takes that path to go paperless and to go digital. Just at a high level, how it all comes together, I'll go from left to right of screen. On the left, you'll see a device, and that's a form that Giorgio use in their remote operations, and that can be of any type of form. It could be a safety form, an operation form, a HR form, or any form that belongs to any one of their functions. Once the field worker or the remote worker fills out the form, a number of things happens at the same time. So once the form's submitted, up on the top, you'll see the form is completed, and that's submitted. The form's submitted through an automatic syncing mechanism directly to their document management system. So all the physical handling and filing and validation of that form has now been made redundant. At the same time, field data or transactional data is submitted to a data warehouse, and that can either be hosted on a Microsoft Azure or Amazon Cloud, or it could be an in-house server. So all that field data is loaded into a data warehouse where then business intelligence or business analytics can be applied to that data, which gives management complete visibility in real time about critical information that's being collected on remote sites. So therefore, there's a huge benefit in the timeliness of data that's required to manage the company in a far more efficient way. Also, what is possible through the Miracle Studio, which Tamjid will talk through the demo later on, is the ability to track and close out tasks and even submit tasks through an approval workflow from the Miracle Studio back to the app. So now it becomes a really robust solution that not only is the data collection part of a business improved, but more so the analytics from the data, as well as project and task closeout, all via the app. So in a well-rounded, efficient and productive process, the app has now achieved so many business improvement initiatives that a company would never have had before through a manual and paper process. Moving on, Sadly is a national transport and logistics company, and we're proud to say they're a client of ours. They're a transport company, and the business case that I want to talk to is in and around their tracking of non-conformance. So as you'd appreciate, deliveries need to be obviously delivered on time, but back through the supply line, they need to be correctly picked, correctly handled, correctly loaded, and then correctly delivered. So along that path, there is the opportunity for now the driver or the user to track the non-conformance of any one of those stages that may not necessarily be concluded as such from that transport and logistics outcome. So what happens through that business flow? Users can report a non-conformance. There's the origin and destination input that state managers and other relevant stakeholders can be notified via an email or a push notification on the mobile app. And once a non-conformance is lodged, the investigation can take place, or the corrective action for that investigation can also take place and be submitted, so management are able to review that. The investigation team can keep track of when the corrective action is completed, and then obviously a record of contact to the customer is entered through the mobile app as well. And finally, the non-conformance is signed off and closed out. If you can imagine this taking place via a paper trail, those non-conformance reports wouldn't get back to head office until after the driver has completed his entire activity of dropping and picking things up. It would be very inefficient, let's say, through a paper process. I'll give you a quick look at the screenshots. So this is what you see on the left, or the driver sees on his or her left. There's a non-conformance report number, which is able to be tracked. And once we've tapped onto that, it enters into the form, and we can see who the reporting officer is, the date, the number, how it's been reported, who it's been reported to, and also the category of non-conformance. So what you see on the right-hand side there, the driver recognised that there was damage to the freight, and now he's able to report that in real time. It's a far more efficient way of reporting their non-conformance. So you'll see there, the presentation has gone through not only the benefits from a business case, from a financial case, from a productivity and efficient case, but also from an environmental case, how when a company decides to transition through a paper and manual process to a digital platform, there are many, many, many benefits that the company can realise and recognise. All of these business cases that I talked to throughout this webinar have utilised the benefit of customising their forms that are very well aligned to an existing business framework, and taking up the option of using the Miracle Studio to actually tailor and customise their forms. So if you'd like to get started with Miracle Studio, I encourage you to get in contact with us or with me, and I'll happily provide you with an onboarding session. That's a free onboarding session of the Miracle Studio, and it'll show you all the power of digitizing, not only digitizing forms, but how customizing forms specifically to your business is possible through the Miracle Studio. So feel free to sign up and get in touch, and I'll take you through that onboarding session.